Assalamualaikum semua. Kita tengah ada masalah teknikal sikit. Mungkin dalam 10.35 kita insyaAllah kita boleh start.
Okay, Assalamualaikum to the panels and VIP. Thank you for the waiting. So we are already starting in 5 minutes. So I asking everyone to be ready. Thank you.
You may open your camera. You may,
Diminta semua panel untuk buka kamera sebab kita dah nak start. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Distinguished guests, dear speakers and beloved participants, welcome to Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. I am honored to be your Master of Ceremonies for today's program. Before we begin, I would like to inform all participants that this program is being streamed live via YouTube channel. To bless our program, let us begin with the recitation of prayer. I would like to invite Muhammad Irfan bin Razi to lead us in the prayer. Please give your full attention.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad ashrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, hanya padamu sahaja kami panjangkan kesyukuran atas segala rahmat dan berkat-Mu. Ya Allah, bersempena dengan program pada pagi ini, iaitu program Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew, kami memohon hidayah dan taufik-Mu. Kurniakanlah kefahaman dan kemudahan kepada kami untuk menimba ilmu-Mu yang luas ini, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, bukakanlah hati-hati kami, lapangkanlah dada kami. Engkau berkatilah program ini dengan limpahan rahmat-Mu. Semoga segala usaha kami dalam menjayakan program ini mendapat keredaan dan hidayah-Mu. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, sesungguhnya pada pagi ini kami berkumpul kerana-Mu, Ya Allah. Dan kami mohon perlindungan kepada Engkau daripada melakukan keburukan. Muliakanlah kami dengan ketakwaan dan indahkanlah diri kami dengan kesihatan. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Thank you, Muhammad Irfan bin Razi, for the meaningful prayer. Next, we are honored to invite Yang Bersaha Dr. Siti Khadijah binti Alias, Deputy Rector of UiTM Johor, to deliver the opening address. With all due respect, you may begin.
Okay, thank you to the Master of Ceremony. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The esteemed Mr. Taufik bin Hassan, our invited panelists, the esteemed Ms. Nurhana Shakira bin Mazlin, another invited panelist, and the last panelist, Ms. Fatin Najiha bin Fazli. The Honorable Mr. Muhammad Johan bin Muhammad Ibrahim, our program advisor today. The beloved Mr. Muhammad Amir Danish bin Tuan Muhammad Khairu Izwan, Yang di-Pertua, Jawatankuasa Perwakilan Kolej Pasir Gudang. Our beloved Mr. Muhammad Irfan Hazrik bin Mazlin, the program director. Our beloved staff college resident, our beloved organizing committee, and all respective staff members, participants, and all distinguished guests. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam UiTM di hatiku, salam satu komuniti Kolej Kediaman, salam satu dekat keunggulan dari kampus Tanah Harimau, Selatan Mengaum. Alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah SWT for allowing us to gather here for the meaningful program, Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation for all the organizing committees and all the party involved for their dedication in making this program success. I also would like to thank all
studies in three very different academic environments: the United Kingdom, China, and Japan. Each country offers its own unique education system, learning culture, and challenges, making their experiences incredibly valuable for students who aspire to study abroad, particularly on navigating academic life abroad, understanding application and scholarship processes, and overcoming challenges faced as international students. So before we dive into the questions, I would love our audience to get to know our panelists first. I will now invite each panelist to briefly introduce themselves, including where they're from, their previous and current academic background, the course they pursue, and the country where they studied abroad in. So let's begin with our first panelist, Ms. Nurhana Shakira. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Norhana Shakira binti Mazlin. I recently graduating from civil engineering from Beijing Jiao Tong University. I just completed my dual degree program last week and grateful to share my journey with you today. So, for my background, I applied for dual degree program from UMPSA, Pahang, and dual degree program at Beijing Jiao Tong University. So just now I just completed my dual degree program on 9 January and already graduated. Okay.
Thank you, Nurhana. Next, Mr. Taufik, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to everyone. Salam UiTM di hatiku. Yang berbahagia Dr. Siti Khadijah alias Deputy Rector UiTM Johor Branch Pasir Gudang Campus. Yang dihormati Mr. Muhammad Irfan Hazrik bin Mazlin, Program Director, fellow panelists, our moderator, student leaders and ladies and gentlemen from Malaysia, China, Japan, UK. I'm not sure if UK because we are here currently like almost 3 a.m. in the morning. But if you are here, we are happy to have you here with us in the live. So basically, I'm currently studying in actuarial science and mathematics in the University of Manchester, United Kingdom. Previously, I did my diploma in actuarial science, UiTM Perak, Tapa campus. And yeah, basically that's it, right? I'll go back to you like Miss Moderator. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's 3 a.m. there at UK right now. Yeah. Okay. It's great to have a UiTM alumni here. So I guess let's hear from Fatih Najia next.
Okay. So Assalamualaikum everyone. Hi everyone. Okay. So my name is Fatih Najia binti Fazil. You guys just can call me Fatih. I'm currently second year student in Wakayama University, Japan, majoring in system engineering. Okay, so after SPM, I applied for scholarships, DPE Mara scholarship, and then I went to preparatory school in Ambang Osan Jepun, University Malaya, and after that, I'm here. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all to our panelists for joining us today and for being willing to share your valuable experiences. I'm sure everyone watching is already excited to learn more. So before we dive into our discussion, I'd like to give our audience a quick heads up. Near the end of this session, we'll have an Q&A segment where you can submit your questions via the YouTube live chat. So while our panelists are sharing their experiences today, feel free to start thinking about what you'd like to ask them. This way, you'll be ready to type your questions when the Q&A opens and our panelists will be happy to share their insights. Okay, without further ado, so let's actually start with the session. Okay, so when students first move abroad, one of the biggest surprises is often the academic environment. So different teaching styles, exploitation, assessment methods, and even classroom culture can feel unfamiliar and also overwhelming. So what worked in our home country doesn't always work overseas. So with that in mind, here's our first questions. What was the biggest academic adjustment that you had to make when studying abroad compared to your home country? So for this question, maybe we can have Taufik first.
Right. Testing mic 1 2 3 1 2 3. All clear, right? All clear, right? Right.
We can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Moderator, and Assalamualaikum. Good morning again for everyone. So first of all, actually, I would like to thank everyone, especially the organizer, for having me. Hope everyone is doing well. And let's go straight to our question, which is, what was the biggest academic adjustment that I had to make when studying abroad compared to my home country? So a bit of disclaimer, my answers or our answers from the panelists will mostly based on our own experience. Might be differ from you or anyone else. So this is literally like just sharing experience from us. So for this question, actually, I can just compare between UiTM and University of Manchester, UM. I would say the biggest academic adjustment is basically the academic culture. To two main things, two main points. Firstly is about the engagement or the connection with the lecture itself. Right, let's try to describe a bit about culture in UiTM. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because most of our audience are from UiTM, right? So you can correct me if I'm wrong. So I would say that my description might be UiTM is almost, or I would say also like most of other public universities as well, almost like our high school or secondary school, where you know the lecturers and the lecturer might know you, okay? They give you homeworks, they check your homeworks or like problem sheets or tutorials, maybe we call that in university, right? So they ask questions in class, they ask you to share your answer in class, you need to explain in front in class. They want to make sure that you know how to do it, right? So the personal connection is there. So actually like that's my personal preference, which I like that positive pressure. Where, so let's compare with University of Manchester. We know lecturer, obviously, because we go to class. Unless you don't go to class, then you might not know the lecturer. But the lecturer might not know you. They just go to class, like to like give their lecture, but it's not really like that. The connection is not there like what we used to in UiTM, right? So they might give you the problem sheets, the tutorials, but they might ask you to submit, but they not really like, you know, like the pressure, like in UiTM, you really need to know what you are doing. You cannot just like maybe, okay, tomorrow I have a tutorial class. So I just chat GPT the question, the answer, I just wrote down. I can just attend the class with that notes. Maybe they will explain it to you and you can just, oh, okay, this, oh, okay, that. But in UiTM, they might just, okay, Taufik, can you answer question one? And then I need to go in front, okay, this is what I'm currently doing. Okay, maybe in UK they have it, but it's not that strict or that pressure as much as what we have in UiTM, right? Secondly, I would mention about the attendance. So yeah, here in UK, there's no like UiTM where we have like at least what you can just miss up to, I think 20, 30%, 30%, right? Or else you'll have like the status ZAG in UiTM, right? So in the UK, no, you don't have that. So these are kind of like the biggest academic adjustment that I had to make when I'm studying here, right? So yeah, basically when I look at this question, right, I'm quite curious like what other panelists will say about this. And I just guess it might be language, but we'll see like what they will mention it later. When we talk about language, maybe it's not that serious for myself, because myself maybe it's just like accent maybe, but at the end of the day, it's just English. And one key takeaway for the biggest academic adjustment is the adaptability. I think the adaptability isn't just a nice to have skill. Nowadays, it is a survival tool in a world that always change. So how actually like ourselves, like we can have this adaptability skills as one of our tools to survive in this era. Okay, so obviously you need to allow yourself to adapt and have a growth mindset, which this will change a bit of your view on changes, challenges, instead of you seeing them as threats, but you're seeing them as like the opportunities to learn and grow. So I think that's it from me. Thank you. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you, Taufik. I can definitely relate with your answer with apa ni, in University of Manchester still being a lot more, the connection with the lecturer is not there, and they're not too strict on whether you actually submit your homework or even with the attendance. That is personally what I thought of like university or how it would actually be. But when I actually got into UiTM itself, it's actually not like that. It's more like an extension of high school, really, for me lah. Okay, so that's a very interesting thought to hear from Taufik over at UK. So how about we have our next panelist, Nurhana Shakira from China, to tell us what they thought of.
Okay, thank you for the question. For the first question, the biggest academic adjustment for me was the flexibility and communication style in the learning system. For example, in my university in China, in Beijing, Jiaotong, there was often more open discussion about assessment. Students could sometimes talk with the lecturer about whether an exam would be open book or closed book, or there was a room to discuss deadline. For example, student can discuss either we can have exam or we could don't have exam. So the overall assessment load for less heavy compared to Malaysia, where we often had many assessment, many assignment and tests in a short period. However, what stood out was the precision and dedication to teaching. Lecturer followed the schedule very strictly and were truly committed to making sure students understood the material. The most important is the lecturer generally very kind and approachable, and they focus more on work and ensuring we comprehended each topic deeply. One small challenges was the language, where sometimes, even though the teaching was clear in English, certain lecturers used local slang or spoke with a strong accent in Mandarin, which took time to get used to. But overall, the adjustment was positive. It's only from the first time we arrived, it just getting hard, but it taught me how to communicate my learning and engage more proactive with educators. Okay, that's all.
For me, even listening to the English listening exam is already difficult enough for the accent. So I cannot imagine Nurhana having to hear lectures, even though in English, but the lecturer having very thick accent. I cannot imagine that. Okay, so with that, how about we hear next from Fatin?
All right, so thank you for the question. Actually, I have few academic adjustment that I have experienced. So the first thing is I will not touch about the language barrier, but in fact, it's the evaluation system, the assessment style. So in Malaysia, you guys have a lot of presentations, group work, discussions, right? Okay, but in Japan, there are less to none that kind of things. Most of the subjects here are mostly exam based and assignment, maybe like 100% exam or like 70% exam and then 30% by doing a report. So there are no, group works and discussions that like we have already learned in high schools and so on. Okay, and then in Japan, we have no study week. So we have to always be prepared and then catch up with what we are learning now and so on. So like 15 weeks of class. And then the 16th week it is exam week. So I have to always adapt with that because my Malaysian friends always, we have study week. But I don't have study week. So I have always to be more a step ahead. Yeah. Okay. And then CGPA, the grading style is very different compared to in Malaysia. So in Japan, we have variety of CGPA system. For example, in my university, Wakayama University, we use 4.5. But in my friend's university, Kobe University, they use 4.4 if I'm not mistaken. So, and then the grading system is also different. Some of the universities, they use like a range, maybe like 100 to 90. That means A plus or something. But in my university, if you got 100 marks, then it means 4.5 CGPA. But if you got 99 marks, then 4.4 CGPA. So I have to adapt well to plan my studies well. Yeah, so that is one of the thing I think the biggest academic adjustment. And then the next thing is this one is the same as topic attendance. In Japan, we have this one machine in each class where we have, we attend the class, we have to tap our student card on that machine. So that means that we attend the class. And if you don't tap your card on that machine, that means you're absent. And there are few cases, some of the students that just come to the class and then tap on that machine and then leave, go back home. There are some, rare cases like that. And there are also like some subject that doesn't, I will not say that it is not important, but you attend the class or you don't, it doesn't affect your CGPA at all. Because like what I have said before, 100% exams, 70% exam and 30% assignments. So attendance doesn't affect your grade. And sometimes, of course, you know, I always felt like, oh, I'm so lazy to attend class. My friends don't attend class. So I think it's fine if I don't attend class. I always think of that. So I have to adjust well. I have to, you know, set my self-discipline well, to not influence by others. I have to attend this class, set my mindset well. Okay, so and then the next thing is I would say classroom culture. As you guys know, Japanese are very introvert, are very shy and quiet. So in class, the students are very quiet compared to in Malaysia. Like I can say that Malaysians are very outspoken, outgoing. In class, there are two ways of communications. The lecturer will ask, "Oh, do you guys understand this? Can we move to the next topic? Do you want rest and something, right?" But in Japan, there's no such thing like that. We enter the class, the lectures start sensei start talking. And then it's just like that. The sensei, you know, doesn't ask us, "Oh, are you guys okay? Do you guys understand this?" They don't ask us like that. And in class, there are also no, you know, interruption or debate. Like suddenly a student raise up hand and ask question to the same place. There's no such thing like that. So that was, I think, the shockest thing because the class is very quiet and like they don't debate openly. So sometimes when I have questions, like no one will ask, right? Because the class is very quiet. It is not the culture there to do that. So after class, I often meet sensei and ask one to one, like how to do this. Can you explain more? And so on. All right, that's all. Thank you.
So fully relying on final exam sounds very nerve-wracking. I can't really imagine going through that. Okay, so thank you for sharing those experiences. It really shows how important adaptability is when entering a completely new learning environment. So, okay, next, studying abroad isn't only about managing assignments and exams, it's also an emotional journey. So many students face loneliness, culture shock, homesickness, language barriers, financial pressure, and moments of self-doubt, to name a few. So these struggles are rarely visible, but are often the hardest part. So our next question is, what was the most challenging part of your journey to study abroad, academically or personally, and how did you overcome it? So for this question, can we have Nurhana Shakira to start for this question?
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, personally, the most challenging part was adapting to daily life as a Muslim foreigner. This came in many things. The first one, like the climates. Coming from tropical Malaysia, Beijing winter was a shock. The temperature dropped below zero, and it took time for me to adjust both physically and mentally because Beijing freezing winter were a world away from Malaysian humidity. Second, the food was a constant concern, where finding halal food sometimes was difficult and Malaysian cuisine was rare and expensive. In Beijing, mostly for outside, Malaysian food was expensive and there's only halal food that is cuisine for Chinese cuisine. And sometimes I miss home cooked meal that I eventually learned to prepare simple dish for myself. Next is socially, wearing hijab sometimes made me feel visibly different because mostly for people mostly for they are curious because why you are wearing hijab, like for a Muslim, even though in Beijing there's a lot of Muslim, they keep asking why you are wearing this and that. And the last one is language barrier. Even with healthcare level Mandarin, daily misunderstanding happen where both in speaking and listening, I rely on translation app at the first time and practice with my local classmate and learn not to be afraid to ask or repeat question or to explain in Mandarin. And I overcame these challenges by building a support network by connecting with other international students, joining university sport club like badminton, swimming, and stay regular contact with family back home. And it taught me resilience, planning, and the importance of community. Okay, next.
Thank you, Nurhana. When I think of studying abroad, being adapting to being a Muslim in a foreign country definitely does not come to mind. So thank you for shedding some lights into that for that. So can we hear next from Fatih?
All right, thank you for the question. So the most challenging part of me studying abroad is language barrier, academically, mentally, socially. All right, so academically, same like Malaysians, we like Japanese have a lot of dialects and slangs, trendy words, dandy words, and so on. So sometimes, during class, I can't understand what the sensei are saying. So it is very hard. That's the first thing. And then second thing is notes. Although like during lecture, sensei give us note, I can't understand well what the note, the sentence mean, what is the word means, and so on, because I've never learned it during my preparatory schools. And then the last thing is, there was this one time where we have practical class, coding class, I think. So, and I'm the only Malaysian, the international student in that class. Sensei gave us instruction in Japanese, what we need to do and so on. But I can't understand it, so I struggled a lot in that class. Luckily, I have already passed that class. Okay, so that is academically. And how did I improve? How do I overcome this? Is the first thing I always like write down anything or take picture of anything that I think is important. Like sensei always, write down on the whiteboard. So I always take that picture and write down anything. So when I go back home, I just can revise it, translate it using Google Translate, and make some notes. Other thing is I prepare for material earlier, especially for theories classes where comprehension is very important. I always, before the class, I always translate it by myself, the materials, and then make some small notes, translate to Malay and English, so that during class I just can refer it to my note and then understand better what the sensei is explaining. And then the last thing is your mindset. Actually, your mindset is important in learning language. It is okay to not understand everything, because learning new language is so hard. It's very hard. So although you understand a part of it, it doesn't matter. It's okay. That's an improvement. So yeah, you have to set your mindset. Okay, that is basically academically. So what I struggled a lot is language barrier socially. So when I was in my first year, half year of my first year, I have no Japanese friends at all. I was so lonely, but I thought that it's okay. I just can lepak with my Malaysian friends and hang out with them, talk with them. But I noticed that gradually my language skills become getting worse, and I have no confidence speaking Japanese. So when I started my second year, I think that I need to change. This is like an opportunity, studying abroad in Japan. So I have to get out of my comfort zone. I have to meet Japanese friends. I have to improve my Japanese skills, learn their culture, and so on. So what I did is the first thing I joined club activities in my university, and I'm the only international student there, and everyone is Japanese. So this club activities is every week on Thursday. I have to meet them. Nak ke tak nak, I have to meet them. So I have to talk to them in Japanese, and I gained friends. I made a lot of friends there. Okay, and then the next thing is I applied for a part-time job. So this part-time job, I applied for a part-time job at a retail store in Osaka. So it requires me to talk to Japanese customers, to have a great communication, work well with my colleague, and then understand what my manager asked me to do, so that because it is a job, it is a serious thing. So yeah, communication is important there. And the last thing I did is I try to say hi. I try to approach, random people. For example, like you see cleaner, or maybe like at restaurant. I always like say hi to them and then make small talks with them, so that I can improve my Japanese skills. Like actually Japanese doesn't care you are good at Japanese or not. So just go and approach them. And gradually, I noticed that my Japanese improved. My Japanese skills improved because I am more confident speaking Japanese. So that is the things that I did to improve my language skills. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Fatin. Based on your explanation earlier, your comprehension skill is definitely being put to a test, and I'm really glad to hear that you managed to come out of your own comfort zone so that you can fully enjoy your studying abroad in Japan. So, lastly, let's hear our answers from Taufik.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Moderator, and thank you for the question. I can just repeat the question again. So what was the most challenging part of my journey to study abroad academically or personally, and how did I overcome it? So actually, I would like to start with, I totally agree with what Hannah said just now about weather. It is true, it is completely different, Malaysia and UK, specifically in Manchester. If you haven't heard of Rainchester, so let me introduce you to you guys. Like Manchester is also known as Rainchester, where it is always rain. Even though the forecast might say like, okay, today might just be like cloudy and will be raining 10 a.m. But sometimes it can rain like way earlier or delay. So it's like very famous of raining, right? So yeah, for the question, like I would like to answer both academically and personally. So academically, echoing to what I just said in the first question, I would say that is a challenge for me. The biggest academic adjustment, that is the challenge for me. I'm a person that need that pressure, but here, no pressure. I'm not saying about like no pressure, like the exam is easy, not about that. It's just about the culture, like no attendance. You go class, the lecturer won't ask you a single question, even though you didn't do any like revision about that topic in that lecture. You can just go there and just open your in UiTM. Are we using UFuture? Still using UFuture, is it? Like the
Yes, we're still using your
yeah, so
future.
like your UFuture in here we call it as Blackboard or Canvas. So we just go through that and just download the notes, just download the lecture slides. It's still okay because why? No pressure, right? So let's talk a bit more about like the attendance, especially. I think Fatin just now mentioned a bit about like attendance, right? Just imagine like there'll be like a Coldplay concert, for example, on Monday night, and it will end like 11, or maybe after that you'll go hang out with friends, end up like maybe quite late, and you have a class at 9 a.m. the next morning, and there's no attendance. So with that flexibility, you can just skip the class, right? But I know you might just say like, just go, why not, right? So when you know that they don't take attendance, you will understand what I mean. Like how free or how flexible you will be like with like this challenge. Yeah, it's a very good thing. Like the flexibility, right? You can during COVID, we have that flexibility. Studying at home while doing a part-time job or doing that flexibility is good. But at the same time, it might be a very negative thing for students. Talking about academically, I agree with Fatin about study week. I think UK, we have reading week in the middle of like the semester. No, I think we do have. Okay, but so in 1 year we have 2 semesters. The first semester, our exam is actually around now, January. I'm actually in the exam season now. So just imagine you just finish your semester week 12 and then Christmas break. I do agree we have 1 month of Christmas break, but straight away after Christmas break is exam. So you come to UK, obviously you want to go see around, you want to go Paris, you want to go Amsterdam, you want to go around UK, Scotland, all that. But at the same time, you have exam on January. Yeah, so that's quite challenging. And in class, ask question. If Fatin say like Japanese like quite introvert, I don't think like UK is quite introvert. I think they're actually quite outspoken like Malaysia, but the culture in class, as someone who likes to ask question in UiTM in Malaysia, when I come here, I also like join them to be a bit shy to ask. Maybe fair point to say that most of the lectures are in like a big lecture hall, okay? But UiTM also do have that, but most of it like just in a small classes. But I don't know why. Maybe because of the environment, or maybe I can ask in Malay in UiTM, but here I need to ask in English. All that overthink or anything that make me just ask after class, or maybe they have like an online platform for us just to ask anonymously. So I think most of the students will just use that instead of ask question straight away in class. All right. In terms of personally, I would say that being away in Tapa, like I did in UiTM before, is not the same as being away in Manchester. It is so different. I would just highlight one point. Okay, community. I know that UK is one of the famous destination for Malaysian to come visit or even work or stay here. The statistics also show that approximately like 80k Malaysians in the UK, 26k in China, 23k in Japan. But obviously you are not going to be friends with the 80k, right? And in summer or like during term break or anything, everyone go back Malaysia, or maybe your close friends like graduated or anything, like your circle will become smaller and smaller. And so far, what I've been describing, you guys might say like, Taufik, I think it's just the same. Just the same like in Malaysia, like at some point in your life, your friends will be like smaller and smaller. But it's not about that, okay? The point is, you are in Malaysia though. Like the food, the people, the culture, you're still back home. While I'm here, like, you know, sometimes maybe you can feel a bit lonely. And in Malaysia, maybe like you feel lonely or anything, you can just go to the malls, or UK malls quite boring. But yeah, maybe Malaysia, you can just easy find ayam gepuk. Here is very hard, very expensive. Like, I don't know, like ayam gepuk now is very famous in Malaysia, right? And especially like very easy to get in Shah Alam. So like here, no mama, like just pub everywhere. So yeah, yes, UK has like 80k Malaysians here, but it won't feel the same as I'm back in Malaysia. The loneliness like hit different. So how I overcome it? So obviously, like besides my key takeaway from the first question just now, being adaptable with the problems, you need to have PR. What is PR? Not permanent residence, okay? So PR, let's go through PR. PR for me is like, first P is like plan. You need to plan on how you are going to achieve what you want in your life, your short-term goals, your long-term goals. You need to plan that. And at the same time, you not get distracted by all these challenges. Okay, so it is the best for you to plan. But Taufik, I know that. I know to plan. I always plan. But tak jadi pun, tak gerak pun my plan, like it just always just stay there. So remember to have R in your plan, which is realistically. Plan realistically. I just learned this like a few months ago, even though it is actually like common sense, just plan realistically. But most of us just plan like, okay, tomorrow morning, I want to wake up 6 a.m. I want to go gym and then go back, make breakfast. You know, like we plan a lot, but it is not realistic as what maybe we can manage as maybe someone, you know yourself, like people might be different from you. So I think like that's how maybe like one of the ways on how I overcome it, which is by plan realistically. That's all from me. Thank you. And back to you, moderator.
So hearing about the flexibility that you talk about, Taufik, definitely makes it like very difficult to hold yourself accountable and be very disciplined with yourself. And about what you mentioned about the community then not being the same as the one in Malaysia, even though there's still a lot of Malaysian in the UK, I cannot really relate to that as much, but I can definitely tell like how lonely it would um be there and missing the community back here in Malaysia. So I think let's go next to our next question. So now let's move to a lighter and more fun segment. So people often romanticize studying abroad based on stereotypes or social media. So sometimes they assume certain countries are easy, stressful, overly strict, or not as challenging academically, which isn't always true. So for our final questions, what is one misconception people often have about studying in your country that you would like to correct? So for this question, how about we have Fatin start first?
All right. So thank you for the question. So I would give like few misconceptions that people often have that I did have about studying in Japan. Okay, so the first thing is international students are treated differently. I would say no. In Japan, actually, everyone treats everyone the same as locals. As long as you follow the rules, you respect their rules, their culture, then they will treat you the same as locals. And plus point if you are good in Japanese, they will, even approach you more. Okay. Like most of my Japanese friends, they told me that at first they want to approach me, but they're scared that maybe I don't know how to speak Japanese. They're scared that uh I will talk to them in English, and they like their English is very they can't speak English at all. So they're scared, and as I said before, they're very shy and introvert. What I did is we have to approach them first. Yeah, we have to always approach Japanese people first. But don't worry about being treated differently because they treat everyone the same. And even in Japan, there are Japanese university. There are a lot of clubs that for for international students so that they can engage to the communities more, to the Japanese culture and so on. Um, Okay, and then the next thing is life must be smooth in Japan because it is Japan, like everyone's dream vacation place. And then because Japan is safe, Japan is fine. Okay, it's true, Japan is safe. I can walk at night alone. At 3 a.m. if I'm hungry, then I can just go convenience run. I can like matcha hunting and so on. That was fine. That is fine, but people doesn't often talk about the emotional challenges here. Sometimes you want your family to be here with you when you have problems, when you have, especially during winter depression. During winter, you need someone with you. And then, like for example, when I used to go groceries with my parents, but now I have to do it here alone. So sometimes when I think of that, it makes me sad. It makes me lonely. And then the pressure of being here, learning new language, different culture, totally different culture, and then academically, pressure in academics. So people doesn't often talk about that. I think like yes, Japan is safe and fine, but please always like put at the back of your mind that there will be some emotional challenges and you have to get prepared of to how to handle those things. So I have a few advice to give if you face these emotional challenges. So actually when you feel lonely and maybe like stress, the pressure and so on, first thing first is you have to tell someone. You have go meet with your friends, video call your families, do something like that. Reconnect with your families and friends. Don't like be here alone in your room. Don't do that. Do something you enjoy. Go out, go eat something. Yeah, small things like that actually helps our emotion a lot. However, these emotional challenges helps us to be more emotionally resilient. We can manage our emotion well, I think. So I think that's all the misconception that people often have. All right, thank you.
I can definitely relate with what Fatin said about how Japanese people are a lot more reserved and a lot more introverted, because I personally have been to Japan before, and you have to definitely approach them first, and they're not really that good in English. So you do have to prepare yourself a little bit, do a little bit of studying of the languages before you actually go there. And thank you for also highlighting about the emotional struggles that you have, even though Japan is known to be a safe country. There's also a lot of things that you have to think about as well. And I really like the message that you have about loneliness, to make sure that you're not alone. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, then do so. If you have to go out, enjoy yourself, then do that as well. I will definitely keep that in mind. So how about we listen next from Taufik?
Right. Thank you, Ms. Moderator. Right. Before I start answering this question, actually, I would love to add a bit more about the how to overcome like feel loneliness, all that, because I do agree this is a very important point for us to share and keep reminding ourselves. And even though you're in the UK, China, Japan, Malaysia, Seremban, Shah Alam, Kelantan, Sabah, Sarawak, anywhere, stay connected. Stay connected with your family, friends. You need to have your own support system. I know it is hard sometimes, like there must be like a point in your life like you don't know who you want to reach to. And sometimes like if I want to talk to my parents, I'm afraid they're like not they are not going to listen to us. It's just more like we don't want them to worry that much about us, right? Want to share to friends, it's not that deep. Want to share to so I know that kind of feelings, but just stay connected, like be active, join society, do something you enjoy. Play frisbee. That's why I'm currently doing like in the UK. Play sports. Hannah said she played like badminton. Yeah, just do all that kind of thing that prevent us like feel the loneliness. Right. So yeah, misconception. Actually, it took me days to answer this question. Like, when I think about it, like maybe there are some obvious for studying overseas, but this question is about UK. So maybe like I heard a bit from our Miss Moderator just now when she mentioned a bit about halal and all that, like going overseas. Like I would say like there are like this is the very main point for us as a Muslim, where we always think about prayer room, how people see us as a Muslim, especially like ladies, right? Maybe as a man, we look almost the same, but you guys like wearing hijab and all that. So yeah, allow me to like share actually more than one misconceptions that I have, because it is very like hard for me to really think of one that very specific to UK, right? So when you think about Western country, right, are we safe here? Racism, yeah, for Muslims, like I mentioned just now, Islamophobia, halal food. When Fatin said about Japan is a safe country, I thought she wanted to say something like, oh, actually, Japan is not that safe, but actually she turned out to talk something about emotion. So yeah, that's good. But about UK, let's talk about, are we safe here? So do you know that actually UK has UK is like one of the European largest Muslim populations, often ranking like third or fourth in the Europe. So I'm not saying that it is 100% safe. Okay, even just last year, we got a riot against like Muslim in the UK. But obviously, like racism is everywhere. But I would say it is actually okay, right? This specifically for UK, right? I'm not talking about US or any other country. I'm talking about UK, right? So nothing really to worry of so far so good. But obviously, we'll always need to be careful anywhere in the world. Like, jangan cari pasal lah orang Malaysia kata, right? Don't go out alone. Fatin said she can go out alone 3 a.m., right? I would say like, yeah, that's true. I can still go. I can still do that. But don't go out alone 3 a.m. where you wear all your gelang, your Rolex, your rantai cincin, all that, and then walk in all those like dodgy areas. So don't do that lah. Like, have some common sense. Like, if you really need to go out like 3 a.m. or anything, maybe go with your friends, something like that. So yeah, it is actually like pretty nice country to live in, especially if you know in the UK, one of the famous culture for them is like asking people like, are you all right? Are you all right? Have you heard about this? Like UK, so they always asking about that. So like, how are you doing and all that. So I would say like Malaysia, if you ask that, actually you maybe like mean it a bit more than the UK, because we really want to know like apa khabar, how are you, like all that. But here is just a very cultural thing. Like, they are maybe like raised to be nice. Okay, so it is actually a good country. And yeah, so when you just pass by someone, sometimes they just ask you like are you all right? But they suddenly like they just pass by, like they don't really want to know like are you all right or not, but that's something that they do. Okay, so yeah, my point is they are good people. It is like their culture to be nice. Okay, let me add like one more, which is I'm actually quite excited to share, because this is actually something that I did worry or overthink before, which is about the English level. Okay, when you say, oh, studying UK, do you need British accent? Do you need Scottish accent? Or do you need like that level of English, like, you know, like very like you watch Harry Potter, is it like that kind of level that we need to have? Actually, not really. Okay, I would say that based on my experience before, yeah, I'm a bit worried about that. And I would say like even our moderator today have like a better English than me like before I came here, right? So I was a bit like nervous, I guess, like overthink too much about the grammar, about the structure, sentence structure, all that. Like, but when I come here and I just talk, like, you know, sometimes you just direct translation, like can, you know, like our Malaysian English. So they still can understand it, even in like why you only say can, right? Because maybe like in the UK, they maybe have like other ways to say can, right? So in Malaysia, everything we can just say can, something like that. But I would say that when you come here, your English is not like the worst. Don't ever think like your English is like that bad. Actually, we should be grateful that we are born in Malaysia, where our mother tongue is like Bahasa Melayu, and we talk with like this language, and it is very like transferable to English. Where some of like my other friends, like maybe I can use like the example like Fatin in Japan, like Japanese friends, maybe they have like that thick accent. Like Hannah also said like lecturer from China, like they have the thick accent. So actually they tend to have like a bit more struggles in English maybe. So, but they still confident to speak English, meaning there's that, it's not that you know, that scary as how we usually think of speaking English. Maybe because in Malaysia, when you speak English, broken English, a bit already got like judged by, or you think you got judged by your friends or teacher. Okay, if you want to speak like this, no problem, you know. Like if you want to speak like in natural accent, or like Malaysian English or British accent or whatever, like it is fine, right? It is fine. So I think that's like the key takeaway is like just try, just speak, don't be shy. Because until this day, like I still like ask my friend, even my Malaysian friends, like what is this means, like the words. I'm still like learning English until today. It's not like really, oh, I come here, I need to already like memorize the dictionary or anything. No, it's not that scary as what maybe we think of, right? Yeah, I think that's it. Back to you, Miss Moderator. Thank you.
Okay, highlighting about, you know, the English level proficiency really relate with me because I personally is a bit worried because we learn English as our second language, right? So sometimes I'm a bit worried. Is my accent okay? Even though it's like a jumble of mix really from like UK, the US, even Australia, and there's a jumble. Even the way they edu thing is also very different as well. And sometimes I mix those up and I got called out for. But it's really nice to hear that even though you are in the UK, it's actually fine, even though your English are not that perfect. As long as the message is there, you can convey it well, then that's all that matters. So lastly, let's hear answers from Nurhana for this question next.
Okay, thank you for that question. For a major misconception I often hear and what I believe myself before leaving is that China is not particularly welcoming or accommodating international students from different culture and religious background. Many think it might be a closed system, difficult for someone like me to navigate socially or academically. But my experience over 2 years and a half show me that this isn't a full picture. While yes, challenges absolutely exist, and I faced several challenges that was actively learning to be more inclusive and incredibly kind. So let me share a specific example. For during my first Ramadan in Beijing, I was anxious and wasn't sure how to manage everything. But to my surprise, the international student office at university proactively reached out to all Muslim students. They provide us with schedule of the campus canteen that serve halal food and extended its operating hour before dawn and after sunset during the holy months. And they didn't just tolerate our practice, they made a structured effort to accommodate it because there's a lot of even though it's not a Muslim country but there was a lot of Muslim people, and this gesture made me feel seen and respected. This spirit extended into my classroom and daily interaction. My lecturers were consistently approachable. In one course on structural engineering, I struggled with complex concept that explained using a local technical term. After class, I went to the professor and he not only explained it, but he's using simple Mandarin and diagram and also emailed me additional resources in English. His passion wasn't an exception, but he also been patient to teach all the students. Furthermore, my classmates were often respectfully curious about wearing hijab and everything, and they asked, not being prejudiced, but they genuinely interest why. And I remember that there's a one group project where a Chinese teammate asked about the significance of my headscarf, and that led a wonderful break time during conversation where we exchange stories, cultural exchange, and I explained everything about Malaysian tradition and everything. This moment can exchange the foundation, and we became a close friendship, and we can tolerate about everything from the differences between Beijing and Malaysia. And sometimes I won't pretend that it was easy. There were times I feel isolated or face a language barrier. Because sometimes when we order food like online food, they talk in Mandarin, but we couldn't understand. But people there, students there are generally kind because they always have student like international student. For me, the misconception lies in believing those challenges mean the environment is unwelcoming. In reality, the challenges is often just the initial step of adaptation and communication, but the kindness is there. Sometimes I need to rush out to meet it. What I learned is that institutions in China, especially major universities hosting international students, are increasingly aware of diverse needs. And more importantly, the people, the professor, and everyone, the fellow student, local, are genuinely warm and willing to help me and engage me openly. Okay, thank you.
It's really nice to hear that your university is very accommodating to your needs, and it's also very nice to hear that the students there is very openly curious, respectfully about the very clear difference that they can see with us, and we're also very glad that the fact that you can use that as your conversation starter so that it can blossom into a friendship or a new connection. So I'm really glad to hear that. So that was very insightful. Thank you for helping us see beyond common assumptions. So now is the time everyone be looking for. We will now open the floor to our audience watching live. So if you have any questions for our panelists, please drop them in the YouTube live chat. Kindly state your name and faculty before your questions. We'll give the chat a moment to fill up. Tapi 7 kat suara. Okay, so the first questions that we received from the audience is, did you face any language or communication challenges and what strategies help you improve? So I'm pretty sure all of our panel today have mentioned a bit about language barriers. So do you mind like explaining more about your own strategies on how do you actually help improve that? Anybody can answer this. Taufik? Oh, Fatin.
I can.
Fatin can go first.
All right. So of course, I have a lot of experience. Language barrier experience. There was this one time where I had to go to the what you call it in English. It's like UTC. Yeah. So I have to register my address and so on, but I don't understand it well. So something happened and I had to pay for it. Something like that. So because of language barrier. Okay, so how do I overcome this? It actually you have to speak like locals. Okay, so you have to always that's why I said make Japanese friends, make friends, so that can you guys hear me? All right. Okay. So make Japanese friends and then talk with the locals. Be confident. First of all, please be confident, and then you can casually talk with the locals. Don't be afraid to have broken Japanese, broken English. They don't care as long as they understand what you are talking about. And like okay, in my case for Japanese, maybe like when you learn new language, you have to start like you are a baby. You have to watch. I advise you guys to watch TV shows like Chikawa or Doraemon, and maybe like read kids books. It helps me a lot by doing that. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Be confident is definitely the key here, and hearing about Fatin recommending like watching kids show, Chikawa and everything, you basically have to start from scratch because it's a new language we are trying to learn and adapt to. So is there any other panel who wants to add on? If not, we can move to the next questions. Can we move to the next question? Okay. Okay, so the next questions that we receive from the audience is, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice before studying abroad, what would it be? Again, anybody can start first. And anybody can also feel free to chime in as well. Okay, yes, that would be.
Right. Can you just repeat the question again? Sorry.
Okay, the question is, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice before studying abroad, what would it be?
I think like personally for me, first of all, thank you for the question. Personally for me, it's just about the usage of English. Maybe just use English more in your life. I know that. Okay, a bit of context. I'm a person that I really like to do all the public speaking and all that, but most of them are in Bahasa Melayu. So maybe one advice that I can just told myself back then is just try like in English as well, which I'm not really saying no. Back then I did like few maybe like moderating or being a panelist as well, like in English, using like English as the main language there. But it's just that maybe I can just like try more than what I did, because it is actually like how I said just now about the adaptability. When I have this own POV of changing, instead of looking that as a threat, I'm scary that people will judge me. I'm scary that I'll feel embarrassed because of my limit of vocab or my grammar and all that. Actually, I see myself like when I came here, obviously I was forced to use English even more. I'm in an English country. So I was forced, and it is actually not that bad, not that scary. Like I mentioned just now, it is something that really good just to try, and because now it's more on the perspective of growth, perspective. I want to be like a better version of myself and all that. Especially now it's like new year, new me time, right? So it is good for me and for everyone here just to start using English. While I'm not saying that forget about Bahasa Melayu, forget about that, no. But English, like it will help you a lot in your university. When you have like when you go to Japan, you go China, you also use English, right? So it's not just like if you're studying in UK. Maybe if you go US, Australia, New Zealand, or even like in Indonesia, Singapore, anywhere like near Malaysia, you can use that anywhere in this world. To get a job, you need English. To maybe do part-time job or anything, like they might ask you for like English as like one of your language that maybe you can speak. So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you.
So hearing that, again, it's basically the same thing. Like English, just be confident, and also to, if you can start early learning English, start to equip it a lot earlier as much as you can, and try to speak it as often as you can as well. Because English, you can use it everywhere, not necessarily when you're just studying abroad or, going abroad for a holiday. It's something that we use quite often, and even in Malaysia we use it a lot, and even right now we use English to make sure that we can reach a greater audience, not just those in Malaysia that understand Malay. Okay, so that's a very wonderful thought. Is there any of our panel who wants to add on to that questions?
I would like to add on. One piece of advice I could give is, the first one, we should learn the language. For example, in China, before we going to China, we need to learn their basic Mandarin, because if you come there without any knowledge, you couldn't survive, because mostly people in China, they couldn't speak basic English. Even when you want to go to the restaurant or talking to local people, they couldn't understand at all. So you need to learn Mandarin, the basic knowledge, because everything in China is different. They are not using English because, for example, for everything apps like Meituan for ordering food and other system or website, they are using Mandarin, fully Mandarin. So we need to learn it first and doing research. So it helped me to survive in China. Okay, that's all from me.
I can definitely relate to Nohana answer, because unlike like application here in Malaysia, there's like usually two language. So between Malay and English, you can switch it up. But in China, I'm pretty sure the only language that is available is actually Mandarin for most apps. So I can definitely see that being a struggle. So I think thank you for the clear and thoughtful response. So due to time constraint, we would that is the last questions lah, unfortunately. So thank you very much for the thoughtful responses. So before we wrap up, I'd like to give all panelists a chance to share a final quick message. So any advice or words of encouragement, and also if anyone watching today would like to learn more about your experiences or connect with you for future guidance, so please feel free to share how they can reach out to you as well. So it could be your social media handles, LinkedIn, or anything lah, anything alike, so that they can connect with you and learn more about your experiences abroad. So anybody can start first. Fatin, you look
Alright.
like you want to go first.
Okay, so if you guys want to study abroad especially in Japan, you guys can check out MEXT, Max Scholarship. Yes, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's under Japanese government, because now they offer a lot of opportunities for masters and PhD program, which is in English. That's a good thing. For international students, because they want more international students to come to Japan. So if any of you guys wants to learn more about Japan or scholarship, you guys can message me on my Instagram, Fatin Fadzil with 2 N, FATINN, FADZIL. And also studying abroad requires a lot of mental strength, and it's okay to not feel you don't belong anywhere, and it's okay to feel lonely, but please reach out to your closest one lah. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Can you hear our final message from Nurhana next?
Okay, thank you for having me today. It's been a real pleasure to sharing a bit of my story with you. The first one that I think that I could share, which is do preparation early. Even though it is stressful, but give yourself time. And about the financial sponsorship, don't be afraid, because mostly in China, if you're planning to study in China, you can apply for China Ambassador Scholarship and JPA, Mara. You can apply because they always have students who want to study. And when everything get hard in overseas, you should try take it as a chance to learn, even though it was a hard when you are feeling homesick or confusing. You should be strong, and you should look back how to manage it. Even studying abroad is amazing adventure, because you can not only study, but you can traveling around the country, nearby country, and you can have more experience and opportunity. So I wish all of you luck. That's all for me.
Thank you, Nurhana. And lastly, from Mr. Taufik.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Moderator. Maybe like last words or the final session, the final question. I would just like to summarize a bit about how I got here from UiTM, because maybe like most of our viewers today might be from like UiTM students. So basically, like during my second year diploma, I think wait, 2.5. So yeah, around second year, around like semester 3, 4, like that. A friend of mine like told me about a scholarship from Mara, which is called World Top University Program, WTU Mara. Okay, and then I did some research about that. And then I contacted Mabex, MABECS, Mabex, to get a guidance from them. And actually it's free, everything free, like from A to Z about the university, like how to apply. They will guide you about the visa, about everything, but not about scholarship, because they assume you find your scholarship yourself or use your parents' money. Okay. So yeah, I mentioned a bit about scholarship. Basically, it's not just Mara. Maybe you can go through a lot of like other scholarships. Yeah, basically WTU. For my batch, actually we got like 2 intake, and then the year after they don't have any intake at all, and then suddenly like the year after, they have it again. So I'm not really sure about why they on off like that, but maybe you can just keep looking, and pretty sure there are a lot of like other scholarships like Japan and China got, where from the country itself, from the university itself, like they have their own scholarship for students like us. Because UiTM, we do have like a lot of MOU. Do we call it MOU? But like the connection between universities, UiTM and like the international universities. So for sure, they might know UiTM. They might have like opportunities for us as UiTM students to do even like maybe 1 year in the UK. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah. So that's it about like the scholarship part. So again, thank you, JBK UiTM Johor and JBK UiTM Malaysia for having me. I'm happy to help any of you, like to keep in touch with me, ask questions whenever I'm free and I'm available. I'll definitely answer it. Maybe you can just reach out to me through my Instagram, Eden_Taufik, EDEN_TAFIQ. But just bear in mind that we are like 7 to 8 hours different, that I might reply a bit later or that, right? So yeah, final thing from me. Someone told me before, like, it is a privilege to feel pressure when you are working towards goals you set for yourself. Okay, so I repeat again, it is a privilege to feel pressure when you are working towards goals you set for yourself. So it's fine to have pressure. It's fine to, have ups and downs in your life. Just give time to yourself to adapt and look in a positive point of view. And hopefully this is our story. This is like our book. This is a book about myself. This is our life. So I hope that everyone here, including myself, including our moderator, our panelists, like everyone here, like, will be academic success abroad. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you, and get back to you, Miss Moderator. Thank you.
I really like the last message that Taufik gave. You definitely need to give yourself your own room to improve and also to make mistakes as well, and don't be afraid of that, and also the pressure that also come with it as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure our audience will find it very helpful and encouraging. So with that, we have reached the end of our session today. From today's session, we learned that academic success abroad is not simply about getting accepted into a university. It is about adapting to new learning styles, surviving unfamiliar environments, managing emotional challenges, and constantly stepping outside of one's comfort zone. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to our panelists, Ms. Nurhana Shakira, Mr. Taufik, and Ms. Fateh Najia for sharing such honest, insightful, and inspiring experiences. Your journeys have shown us that while every path is unique, all require resilience, independence, and a willingness to grow. So truly, your experience remind us that studying abroad is a transformative life journey. And to everyone watching us live on YouTube, thank you for your participation and thoughtful questions. We hope today's session have given you a clearer direction and inspiration for your future academic path. Without further delay, I will now pass the session back to our MC to continue with the next segment. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the end of the program, we are pleased to invite Nur Ain Shakila binti Abdul Muttalib, the representative of Program Director, to deliver the closing remarks.
Alright. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia, Dr. Siti Khadijah binti Alias, Deputy Director of UiTM Johor, Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. Yang dihormati Mr. Taufik bin Muhammad Hassan, Invited Panelist, Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. Yang dihormati Ms. Nurhana Shakira binti Mazlin, Invited Panelist, Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. Yang dihormati Ms. Fateh Najah binti Fazli, Invited Panelist, Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. Yang berusaha Mr. Muhammad Johan bin Muhammad Ibrahim, Program Advisor, Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew, UiTM Johor Branch, Pasir Gudang Campus. Yang
Yang dikasihi Mr. Muhammad Amir Danish bin Tuan Muhammad Khairul Azwan yang Dipertua Jawatan Kuasa Perwakilan Kolej Pasir Gudang, UiTM Johor Branch, Pasir Gudang Campus. Beloved resident college staff, organizing committee members of Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew, and all respected staff members, participants, and distinguished guests. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you. Salam UiTM di hatiku. Salam satu komuniti kolej kediaman. Salam satu tekad keunggulan dari kampus Tanah Harimau Selatan Mengaum. Alhamdulillah, we are truly grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala as today's program, Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew, has been successfully conducted in a smooth and meaningful manner. I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to our three outstanding panelists, Mr. Taufik bin Muhammad Hassan, Ms. Nurhana Shakira binti Mazli, and Ms. Fatinajah binti Fazli for their willingness to share their experiences, challenges, and valuable insights. Their stories have not only broadened our perspectives, but also inspired and motivated many aspiring students who hope to pursue their studies abroad. My sincere thanks also go to the moderator, organizing committee, and everyone who has contributed directly or indirectly to the success of this program. Your dedication and cooperation are truly appreciated. In closing, we hope this session has been beneficial, serving as guide and source of confidence for students who are planning their international academic journey. With that, I, representative of Program Director, officially conclude the program Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. Thank you for your support and we look forward to seeing you in our future programs. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Nur Ain Shakila binti Abdul Muttalib, the representative of Program Director, for the meaningful closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of Academic Success Abroad, What I Wish I Knew. Each certificate in merit will be distributed to UiTM participants nationwide. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to all speakers, participants, and viewers. Thank you for your support. Stay safe and see you again. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you everyone, and thank you the panel for the
To all the students that are viewing the YouTube stream, you can scan the feedback to claim the e-merit. Thank you. Thank you to all the panelists. You all may now dismiss. Thank you.